welcome back to In the House podcast with Toni Singh
and Jenny Woon.
Thank you so much for joining us. Today's topic is
multiple
super current.
offers.
Yeah, multiple offers.
Oh
and
my gosh.
why are we talking about it?
Because everybody's in multiple offers at the moment, whether you're the listing agent, whether you're the buyer's agent.
And for all property types across all areas.
Fraser Valley, Lower Mainland.
So crazy out there.
It is. It's especially crazy with single family houses.
Oh, for sure. But it's all products. So single family homes, townhouses, for sure, and condos.
So tell me a recent situation you're in where you're representing the seller.
Okay. All of our listings have sold.
Congratulations.
Thank you. In multiple offers. Mostly when representing the seller, it's very important to explain things and go over all of the offers in a way that they can understand, where they don't get too emotionally involved. It can be overwhelming. It can be very overwhelming.
Let's rewind back and,
Sure.
and explain, because there are some of our listeners are not living in our city.
Okay.
Why are there multiple offers happening at the moment?
That is a great question.
So number one, lack of inventory.
So low. There's hardly anything out there.
Why aren't people moving at the moment?
People are not moving at the moment because it's difficult. It's easy to sell their home. It is difficult to find them a property sometimes because there's so much competition.
So they're staying put.
They're staying put because what are you going to do then? So if you sell and you're going to get a record price there, what do you buy? You're competing actually against more buyers if you're moving up into, like, for example, we have a client right now that's trying to move out of a townhouse. Now, townhouse segment's very active in Burnaby.
Because there's already very little townhouses
There's very
to
little
begin
inventory. Yes, exactly.
that are built.
That's right. However, the market that they're competing in is trying to upgrade for them into a detached house. Well, that's an even crazier market. And I think all of this kind of speaks to, I mean, we're still in COVID, but buyers' expectations have changed for what they need for their families.
Right.
So if you have the clients upgrading from a condo, maybe a 2-bedroom condo, and they have kids perhaps, into a townhouse would be the next option. And that requires a jump up in price for the same area.
Right.
Sometimes you can move further out, but we're also seeing a lot of our clients, I'm sure you're seeing the same thing. A lot of them want to move further out of the city right now.
Right.
To have greater value in their home for their families.
More space.
More space.
More space.
Outdoor space as well. So Fraser Valley is insane.
So they're more spread out as well due to COVID.
Yes.
So for one of the reasons why a lot of people are looking and there's not a lot of listings is for the COVID reasons, that there's a lot of uncertainty. So the seller decides to sell, and there's nothing to
purchase,
or they wanted to stay put because maybe they don't know what's going on with their job.
Yeah, that too. That's a valid reason to stay put.
And also, there's more buyers on the market because interest rates are low.
I was just going to say, so the cost of money, and just to put it in perspective here, I mean, I'm just going to ballpark numbers, because I'm not a mortgage specialist, but because the rates are so incredibly low, you can basically afford, your price point actually goes up for what you can qualify for, even despite the stress test.
You're right.
So let's say, for example, you were qualified before for an additional $200,000. Well, the cost of money these days, it actually rolls into maybe $400,000, $450,000.
So your debt ratio lowers.
Yeah. And that's huge. Your purchasing power has increased. So crazy market, which is why today we are talking about how to put your best foot forward and win at multiple offers.
Right, in the negotiations.
Yeah.
So one scenario that I've been in as a listing agent, I had a $769,000 townhome.
That's such a great price point, though.
At Burke Mountain.
Yeah, okay.
So it was priced right if it was 2020.
I was going to say, though, how old's the development?
6 years old.
Okay.
3-bedroom tandem garage.
Yep.
We received 10 offers, and it didn't actually go too much over asking, so I feel like we priced it right. We did sell the home $27,000 over asking.
Fantastic.
At 10 offers.
I have a question for that town, because I've sold townhouses up there as well, but recently I have not. So would you say that the sales price on that townhouse today is the same, less, or more than in 2017? Like around 2017 when the market was insane?
The townhouse now is more.
It's more?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know where those ones are, because I know of some on Burke Mountain that were selling just under $1 million.
Well, maybe with side-by-side garage. Because the side-by-side garages are closer to the $1 million.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I sold one of those.
Ours is like small, on the smaller end.
I was going to say it would have to be. There's a reason why. But regardless, less than 800,000 on Burke Mountain, fantastic. And that's probably why you priced it properly. There's a lot of buyers looking for that type of home. And that's why you had the competition.
Yep.
So how was it for your seller then when you have these 10 offers and then did you meet with them in person or go over a Zoom call?
Yeah. So I'll walk you through it. So we listed it and we allotted 1 week for showings. The weekend was back to back at 20-minute increments.
Yep.
And we probably had about over 50 showings.
So many.
So that was a lot to handle for the sellers. They have a child as well, a son. So after nobody actually did an inspection in advance. So all our offers came in with subject conditions. So, which is surprising.
Did you get any cash offers, or did they still have financing?
They still had financing.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's in that area.
It's in that area, yeah.
Yeah, so most of the buyers were first-time buyers.
Okay, yeah, they're going to have to have
That's why
it.
they needed that subject to finance. But the subject to finance or subject to appraisal was like within the same week. So
Okay,
so within the same few days.
And this is kind of what we're talking about too. It's like if you were the buyer's agent there, so this was your listing.
Yep.
If you were the buyer's agent though, how would you write the most compelling offer knowing that you are competing against, at the time they wouldn't have known. They're thinking it's going to go multiple for sure. Maybe 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 offers, not sure. But as the buyer's agent, there are certain things that you can do to put your client's best foot forward and try your hardest to secure that accepted offer for your client. What are we wanting to talk about first? Because I actually think...
So do you want me to finish off with how I proceeded with the reviewing the offers?
Yeah, I do.
So our offer of direction of offers was Tuesday. That was 6 p.m. deadline.
Perfect.
So we received all of them. I informed all the agents that we received 10 offers, that just in case they wanted to make any changes beforehand. We did a Zoom call and we actually did a screen share of all 10, but we summarized it so it was a lot
Makes sense.
faster.
And you would have already known the top 2 out of the 10.
Yeah. So we already had a plan to suggest our top 2 in favor that would work in the best interest of the seller. We went back to those 2 top offers, got them to adjust their
terms, conditions, and price.
and conditions. And then another one out of the 10, which we didn't approach, decided to come in at another price at the last minute.
Oh, fantastic for the seller.
We actually now had our top 3.
Yeah.
So that one that came in at the last minute ended up beating the other 2.
Oh, fantastic.
And had a shorter terms and bigger deposit. So anyways, we ended up removing subjects last week.
Great. Congratulations
Thank
to you and your sellers.
And we had a backup in place.
Yeah.
With one of the top 2.
Backups are tricky sometimes though. I wonder if we should also talk about that
That's
today.
another topic.
I know, okay.
So what if our topic is about how to win in a multiple offer? So we're representing the buyer and we want to offer some tips on, in this market, how you're going to overcome and be in the forefront of 10 offers, 40 offers. Because I was in a situation, a North Burnaby house listed at 1,499, something like that.
I know the one. I saw him like, that is not the price. It's
Did
not
you go
selling for no, because I knew it wasn't the price.
So there was 40 offers.
Yeah.
And agent was not a specialist in North Burnaby.
Oh.
By the way.
Okay.
Okay. So
I think in order to start this, so it actually goes, there's a step before you even write the offer. It's making sure that your clients are already pre-qualified and you've gone over the process with them.
Right.
It's very important to explain to them that this is a highly competitive market and clarify their wish list and expectations for what's actually going to work for them and their family. In this type of market, you really need to be organized. You cannot waste time because what's happening is there's upward pressure on pricing, right? So if you don't do it now and you're not educated about it, you could be paying $30,000 to $50,000 more next week for the same product.
Right.
Who wants that?
No.
Not when you're the buyer's agent. If you're the listing realtor, yeah.
Yes.
So I say pre-qualifying and the onboarding process discussed prior. We do this with our clients prior to any viewings. And then let's say they've looked at the properties that are of interest to them, and they found the one that they want to call their dream home. When you're writing that offer, there are certain ways to make the offer more compelling and appealing to the seller.
Right.
And go ahead.
That would be less subject conditions as one of them.
As few subject conditions as possible. Let's be honest, like obviously cash is still king. So it's very difficult for a buyer to compete against an unconditional offer, one with no subjects, if the prices are similar, right? Unless the unconditional offer is maybe $50,000 below, it's very hard to compete.
Right.
Now, let's say, for example, you're still going to compete. You're still going to compete. So how do you make the offer more compelling? As few subject conditions as possible, which we just talked about. And I am a big fan of completing as much due diligence as possible for the buyer prior to the offer presentations. It always makes me nervous when we do subject free. I don't like it. I don't.
So by doing that, doing your inspection before the offer is
before offer
placing
presentations.
the offer.
Yeah. And if it's a detached house, you want to pull any records at the city beforehand, right? So that you know.
Good idea.
You want to look at the title search beforehand too, especially for a house, to see if there's any easements, rights of ways, anything like that that's going to affect the value.
Right.
If it's a strata, that's where it gets tricky because you know that for stratas, you can have a 500-page document for that strata development.
Right.
And what it means, though, is reviewing all of that prior to the offer presentations to make sure that if you have investigations or questions for the buyer that need to be answered, you do it before you actually write the offer.
That's a good idea.
It's hard, though, to do it because then you're reading like thousands and thousands of pages of strata documents without maybe securing the contract.
Well, so number one, making sure the listing agent, if you're the listing agent, make sure you order that before,
of course,
before the offers are due. So that way you are in the best position to get those type of offers.
So just speaking to the listing side for a minute, we know that it's a competitive market. We're excited for our listings that are coming on. I have a few new homes coming on in Brentwood Park for condos.
Ooh, okay.
But I've ordered the documents a week in advance.
Okay.
So we're onboarding these properly too, because what would be the most terrible thing is, one, not pricing it properly, but two, you've priced it properly. You can't verify the parking, storage, or other things that a buyer would want to know about the building beforehand. So in doing all of these the week before, it automatically puts my seller in a better position with higher leverage.
And the worst part is you're paying priority fees.
I'm not, because
You're ordering
I
it
ordered it
beforehand.
a week in advance, knowing that we were onboarding these homes as quickly as possible.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, they could be like $50 to $350. I don't know.
I paid $700 before.
Where did that come up with this money?
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyhow, so as little subject conditions as possible. If you do have to have subject conditions, the shorter the time frame, the better. So you know how it is, Jenny, in certain markets.
Let's just say the offer presentation's on Monday, Tuesday.
Sure.
Shorter means, what's the time?
Wednesday or Thursday for subject removal.
Okay.
Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
So that means you have to align your mortgage broker, keep them informed.
Yeah. They get everything right away.
Yeah.
So you got to be quick.
Yep.
Yeah. The people that are unrepresented, they're not winning. They're not winning.
If it's unconditional, then like you said, doing the inspections beforehand, reading through the strata documents, and who else do we need to talk? Oh, the property disclosure statement.
Yes.
Answering all those questions about
And checking
the
at
house.
the city, like we talked about.
Yep.
Did you have something that you wanted to add, though? Because what happens when there's multiple offers and there's two offers that are very similar in price, terms, and conditions?
So this works really well when that seller has this emotional attachment to the house.
Totally.
Because they don't want to see that house They want to be leaving a legacy behind, and they want that next family to live in there to kind of have that same experience they had.
I find that this is most typical with our older sellers who have raised a family in a home.
Right.
Just from personal experience.
Right. And so they wouldn't want to see that home knocked down or changed too much, So that could mean writing a love story and presenting it with the offer. I call it a love story because it was actually super cute. The most recent one that we sent was actually yesterday. And instead of a letter, my clients with their kid actually
picture?
No, they actually talked into a video and sent it to us.
Oh, I love that.
Right?
Because they can put a face to the name.
Yeah, and it's like directly
fantastic.
coming from them.
Yes.
And it wasn't written by the realtor. And the funny part about the video was that the kid threw the ball along the wall. It was in their own home. But it was funny because, the kid was almost wrecking their own home, and so
kids do that. So did you get it based on because I also wanted to, that's a great idea when the offers are similar.
Yes.
Did the love letter help your clients?
We were off by $80,000.
Okay, so that's the next topic to this. I think that love letters are a great idea to secure a home where, like we mentioned, it's you got an offer that's similar in price, but if the price disparity is so great in terms of it being $80,000, the other offer is $80,000 above, the love letter won't really make a difference.
Yeah, it can't replace very strong financial positions for an offer, and cash
I still
is king,
think it's
right?
worthwhile to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
definitely.
because you never know where you're actually going to be similar.
Yep.
In the price.
You never know.
And I've had clients as well in other busy markets write that love letter or a little bit about them. And it was close and they did secure the home.
What are some of the contents you would write in the letter?
In the past, my guys have written who they are with their names, what their family situation is kind of like, and what their desire is, what they liked about the home, and what their desire is to be in the neighborhood.
Right. And so
Typically.
Talking about the interiors, how much they appreciate the details.
Yes.
The school that the child's going to be going to, and
Values, family values sometimes.
maybe the connections to the community.
Well, that worked actually 2 years ago. There was a seller that really didn't want to come down in price. The seller, their property had gone up 10 times as much as when they purchased it. That's insane. Okay.
Totally.
And so with the letter, he was playing hardball, which understandably so. You're the seller, you want the top dollar for it. And in this scenario, I represented the buyer. And when we gave him the letter, he said, "This story reminds me of when my wife and I we bought this home, and it was to set down roots, and it was to raise our family, and the values are aligned where we wanted to spend time with our loved ones. And I don't want to be too greedy. I want the best price for my home. And I would be really happy if this family had my home." So he did. I mean, they still paid close to market value for it. And they also were the victor and successful.
Great.
Yeah.
How would it actually backfire, though? Like, there's possibilities where maybe a story, if you provide a love story or a letter, it'll actually backfire on you. And it could be because, you don't like a certain race.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's if the values are unaligned, and possibly, you can't combat bigotry, though. That's hard. Actually, there was a while where some sellers wouldn't want to sell to somebody that wasn't similar to them.
Yeah. So, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen, obviously. But maybe they just prefer someone from the same community or same church or something
Possible.
like that. Yeah. So I would say definitely add in a love letter or a video. The video I thought was super cute and more genuine and authentic.
Yeah, it
kind
definitely
of puts a face to the name on the offer.
Before video was so prominent, we used to include pictures.
Okay. Yeah.
But now I like the idea, the video idea.
I do
best.
remember putting a letter together. We had the dog.
Yeah, exactly.
2 kids and my buyers. And that worked, actually.
Yeah. So I guess I don't have any other things of urgency that I wanted to say specifically in regards to this topic. Obviously, there are things. If we had questions, we could answer them.
More than anything, with multiple offers, I would say don't be discouraged. I know some buyers don't want to go into a multiple and go into a bidding war. And I hate that answer from a buyer's agent. I would just say go for it. You don't know what the offers are coming in at, because if you don't try, that means you definitely won't get the home.
Yeah, that's also true of life. I like that. It's true of life, right? If you're not going to try, you're not going to get it.
Right, exactly. So yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That wraps up multiple offers.
Well, hopefully you found this helpful. Let us know if you have any questions.
Thanks, guys.
Or wait, if you have something that you do differently and you think that we should know, then let us know.
We really appreciate you guys listening in, and 2021 has started off such a fantastic year so far, and we really look forward to bringing on more guests that we're excited to be able to share with you. And
so excited.
Yeah, you have some really good ones lined up next.
So
next
excited. All right, thanks everyone.
Thanks, guys.